All right, you guys, let's get into the show today. Welcome back. So I looked up movies that included scenarios and themes surrounding Iran and a nuclear attack and the US attacking Iran, and a couple jumped out at me. So I'm going to share those with you today. We're also going to get into some headlines as well. Let's take a look at what we found. Now, I just did a simple Google search and these movies came up. Argo, American Assassin. We're going to cover American Assassin, and also a movie called The Tehran Incident, all the way back in 1979. Now, let's first start with Missile X is the other name for this film. The Tehran Incident, a 1979 film in which a cruise missile was stolen. That seems to be the cover story that Trump's using for the cruise missile that killed the school children in Tehran. Now, I hope you're sitting down for this one, because just 2 days before we actually did the strike on Iran, which was their Ramadan 9/11, remember? 11th day of the 9th month. Well, the movie released 2 days before the attack, except back in 1979. This was 47 years ago. And then 47 years later, under the 47th president, we have this, the release date of this. Now, the plot includes a crazed aggressor named Barron, like Baron Trump. And one of the characters even travels to Abaddon, which is like Apollyon, which we've already compared Trump to. There's even birthdays in the movie, in the cast, that are 2 days off from prominent birthdays connected to the present. Remember, the release of the film is 2 days off from the attack date of February 28th. And Peter Graves was born 2 days before Baron Trump. Wow. Now, how many years is this before Baron Trump was born? He was born on 3/20. So we got this 2 off thing. Now, what does the 2 off thing mean? Well, on a spiritual level, it has to be the Gemini. So it has to be 2 days off, which, of course, Trump is a Gemini. Now, there's another film we're going to cover today as well. Then we'll get into some headlines. Good morning, everybody. Please thumbs up the video today. Now, there's another film with a similar plot, and we're going to fast forward to 2017. That film is called American Assassin. And here is the movie cover poster for this one. I'll give you the plot. Basically, intelligence reveals that weapons-grade nuclear material has disappeared from a decommissioned Russian nuclear facility. Material in question appears to be heading to Iranian hardliners who are upset with the Iranian government's nuclear deal with the United States. Wow. There's a character named Annika, a foreign agent for Iran, and she explains that she's working for the mainstream Iranian faction, which is attempting to stop the hardliners from acquiring nuclear material. Annika is then moved under guard by 2 Mossad agents. They're CIA agents in this as well. They cannot stop the nuke. It detonates in the water near the U.S. Navy's 6th Fleet. It causes a massive sinkhole, but the fleet survives. And then at the end, it says, news reporting indicating that the Iranian faction that tried to obtain the nuclear weapon will win the presidential election and is blaming the nuclear attack on the CIA. So, what is the predictive programming here? Well, it's obvious. The programming is that Iran is so unstable that we can't take their word for it that they won't develop nuclear weapons. They also depict the heroes in the film as the Mossad and the CIA. and factions within Iran that don't want the nuclear weapons, and that they were the ones who uncovered the nuclear plot and are working to subvert it. So essentially what they're saying here is that meddling in the sovereignty of another country by the US and Israel is justified out of fear of the unknown, which is exactly what's happening right now. 2 films with very specific predictive programming. Wow. Now at the end of today's show, I'm going to show you 2 decodes that we did in which we essentially predicted everything that's happening right now with Iran. I'll show you some excerpts from those 2 decodes. Let me check in with you guys, make sure we are connected and everything is good. And we'll get into some headlines first. Good morning, everybody. Wow, pretty shocking, isn't it? Now, I might go in and decode this Tehran incident film because I think that there's something to this. I probably need to just screen this film. Missile X. Wow. So I'll probably take a look at that today, see if there's any other predictive programming. So, all right, everything's good. We're connected up. Let's get into some of these headlines. Now, Trump is saying now that Iran agreed to no nuclear weapons. Now, they had already agreed to this. They have literally a law on their books that says that they cannot develop nuclear weapons. What is the law? Well, it's the fatwa. They call it. Their nuclear program is peaceful, civilian purposes, not weapons development. And this is literally in their religious law. They're forbidden. They call it haram. That's the word for forbidden. And it was issued by the supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei himself, that they would never develop nuclear weapons. So this is no new information that Trump is saying here. Iran agreed not to have a nuclear weapon now. Trump is essentially lying because the people in Iran are saying they have no idea what he's talking about. They deny that there was even ever a single phone call. Wow. Middle East Crisis Live. Trump says Iran and U.S. want to make a deal, but Tehran says claims of talks are fake news. So which is it? Now, this is unconfirmed, but there's actually, let's take a look here. They're actually saying that Trump left a voicemail. Now, this is unconfirmed at this point. This might be breaking news, but Iranian officials are saying that they are going to release a voicemail that Donald Trump left. Now, of course, everyone's going to say this is AI, right? This is the problem with AI. Nobody knows what's real anymore. But according to the Iranians, they said the message captured a dramatic shift in tone. It starts out with urgent pleas by Trump, then escalates into firm threats, followed by attempts at persuasion through incentives, and ultimately ending in what they say is an emotional appeal for a ceasefire agreement. Wow. So if this is all true, and I guess we're going to see in the next several hours, that's pretty bizarre, isn't it? So Trump is lying. He has not had talks with Iran. Otherwise, they would admit that that was the case. So why is he lying? Well, he wants to save face. Because remember, blood is on his hands. At this point, we're up to 13 servicemen. And people would be really angry if they found out the truth about what is going on. Now, what does China have to say about all this? About America and Israel bombing Iran? Stop. With the Erica Kirk eyes. Stop. Somebody needs to meme this one. They need to put this guy's face with the Erica Kirk eyes saying stop. That would be hilarious. So this is what Beijing is saying. Just stop. They say this is a vicious cycle. There is no end game to this. And so just stop. Now, what else is going on? Well, Trump has just deployed ICE agents to do the TSA's job. 14 airports. What could possibly go wrong with this? Sir, we need to do a full body cavity search. Please come with us to this back room. Can I ask why, sir? Well, it's obvious, isn't it? You have a Hispanic accent. It's our job to ensure the security of every American man, woman, and child in this airport. But I'm American, sir. Okay, that's it. Get on the ground. Pop, 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 pop. Hey, boss. Why did we all just shoot the perpetrator? He tried to run me over with his rolling suitcase. No, boss. I think he was trying to move the suitcase out of the way so we could apprehend him. No, he's a Tren de Agua narco-terrorist. Even the White House press secretary, Kristi Noem, and Donald Trump said so. We have complete and total immunity. What a freaking nightmare. So this is going to be our airports now. Now, undoubtedly, they're probably going to be Democrat, provocateurs or whatever, dressing up as illegals just to get a reaction out of these guys. I mean, I can imagine that's what's coming next. Pure chaos in the airports. Look at the lines. God forbid if you have to try and fly in this environment. What a nightmare. Wow. Now, here we are again with do as I say and not as I do. Iran wants to charge $2 million a ship to pass through the Strait of Hormuz for the tankers to make up some of the hundreds of billions of dollars that we've destroyed in their infrastructure. And everybody's up in arms, of course. Oh, how can they do that? They're holding us hostage. But we're doing the exact same thing in the Panama Canal. This is actually typical. It's a tax. Look at this. Panama Canal. Container ships starts at $60,000, and for high value ships, it's up to $4 million. Now you can imagine a ship full of oil is a high value ship. So we're getting a deal. Now, are we seeing any of this money from all these fees for the Panama Canal? No, of course not. Our government really needs to do some kind of profit sharing program. Anytime they make a bunch of money off of some hustle like this, those profits some of that needs to come back to the American citizens. Hey, companies do it. Profit sharing, right? But of course, we never see a dime of this money. It just disappears into some defense budget or some other nonsense. And they just keep telling Americans to work harder, get 5 jobs. So this is the state of affairs. Do as I say, not as I do. We have no moral ground to criticize Iran for charging a fee for the tankers to come through the Strait of Hormuz. So the fact of the matter is, the tankers were going through for free for the last 80 years. Those are the facts. So now the good news is that Trump seems to be starting to back off of some of his threats to escalate things in the Middle East. And the Gulf states are literally telling him, hey, this is becoming a disaster. They're literally telling him that this war has become a disaster. But of course, the gaslighting is over the top, with Trump claiming that he's shocked that Iran would attack its neighbors. But he's leaving out the whole rest of the story, that Iran is only attacking their neighbors to destroy the U.S. bases in those countries that were attacking it first. And it's attacking the allies of the United States, which, of course, the Arab states are more allied with the U.S. than they are with Iran. So it's fair game. Trump talks to us like we're stupid. But we're not stupid, are we? Now, what else is going on? Here's a post from The Bulwark. It says, Trump, they've agreed they will not have a nuclear weapon, et cetera, but we'll see. I think it could very well end up being a very good idea for everybody. And here they are, the Three Stooges. I guess it's easier to start a world war than it is to go after even 5 billionaires in the Epstein files. Wow. Now, let me check with you guys. Oh my gosh. Unbelievable. Get on the ground. Now, we're going to go back a couple years to a show that we did. I think this was last summer, actually, when Trump allegedly obliterated Iran's nuclear program. Let's take a look at this, and then we'll go back to another video from 5 years ago. So, here's what we had to say about all this. Let's watch part of this. This is an animation from 13 years ago, almost to the day. June 25th, 2025. I'm sorry, 2012. June 25th, 2012 is when the images on your screen released of a mosque being bombed by 3 bombers. And I couldn't help but think to myself, 3 nuclear sites in Iran hit in the last 24 hours by U.S. bombers. 3 sites, 3 bombers. In fact, one of the nuclear sites, one of the 3 that was hit, is just 20 miles away from a particular mosque on a hill that looks a lot like this one, an iPad Go 2 from 13 years ago, almost to the day. What am I talking about? This is the site of Qom, Q-O-M. And as you can see, there are some similarities, aren't there? 20 miles from the nuclear site that we just took out with 3 bombers. Now, to give context to all this, this mosque in iPad Go 2 is more of a symbol than an actual physical location. We've compared this mosque to others that seem to fit in as well, like the Hagia Sophia in Turkey, and a few others over the years since this animation came out. We've also found that a lot of the symbolism in iPad Go 2 seems to have multiple meanings, doesn't it? Meanings within meanings. But the irony of this, right? Now, of course, it's not an exact match, but it does have a single minaret. It does have a single dome. It is perched atop a hill. It does have these kind of antenna-like things around the edges of it. Okay, here's some more images of it. This is it perched atop the hill. It's kind of specific, isn't it? Here are some more images. This is called the Khizr Mosque. Here it is up on the hill. And again, you have these kind of unique railings here, which could represent some of this here. Pretty specific, isn't it? Wow. So here is the map. Here are the 3 nuclear sites we just took out within the last 24 hours. Here's Fordo, this northernmost nuclear site, close to Tehran. And here you see this lake feature. Well, check this out. This is Fordo. And as you can see, Qom Khezr Hill is literally 20 miles from the site in Iran. So is this what they're talking about? I don't know, but it's kind of eerie and bizarre, isn't it? Now, what happens in iPad Go 2 after that particular bombing? Well, it's posted up here on YouTube. You can find iPad Go 2. It's about 7 minutes long. And just after that scene, a child, a dervish child, rises up from that bombed mosque, suggesting maybe some kind of holy war. Now, the reason why we also compared that mosque to the Hagia Sophia was because there were dervish children that were killed in the dome collapse of the Hagia Sophia thousands and thousands of years ago, or I guess centuries ago, not thousands of years. But they were killed in that dome collapse. And so there are overlays. It's hard to know specifically what iPad Go 2 was talking about, but there are several instances of precognition. This isn't the only instance. There are several instances of precognition in iPad Go 2 that we found over the years. Things that hadn't happened yet playing out in our reality. Just insane. Now, let's go back 5 years ago. There's another video that we did, and this is crazy, you guys. We literally counted the number of missiles, and there were 28. And of course, the United States picked February 28th to start the war. This is crazy. Watch. Yes. And you can see, and count this for yourself, if you put this in slow motion, that there are 28. And this front character makes it 29. Well, next year, 2022, will be 28 years after the rise of the Balaton, after their origination. Wow. Now, there's more in this as well. Let's keep watching. At 11 minutes and 28 seconds, interestingly enough. Now, as far as I know, the only countries that have warheads that look like this brownish color with like greenish and a white tip, are countries like Iran. There were some videos and images of their underground arsenals. Wow. Pretty much called it. This was from 5 years ago. And I'll put links to these videos for you guys. Let's go back into the chat. Kind of a short show today, but I wanted to get to the point. I am back in the chat now. Yeah, 28 days later. Weird. Yeah, February 28th was the date. 379 for gas, says DJ. Wow. In Texas. Good morning, everybody. For a nation shall rise against a nation, kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginnings of sorrows. Yep. All right. Good morning, Christy. Complete surrender and obedience to our Heavenly Father is where peace is at. Yes, 100%. Yeah, travel is going to be probably disrupted this summer, spring and summer. We will have to see. Adventure and Truth paid $4 in Michigan. Dale $4.20 in Michigan. I got two Michiganers in here. Welcome, you guys. $4.28 for Washington State, says Cannons. $4.29 in Washington State, says Plays in Dirt. So we got two Washingtoners in here as well. Cool. $4 in Illinois. Yeah, it's very difficult for me to try to justify flying. You know, I was, in fact, as I told you guys, I'm going to be probably doing an annual trip to go see my mom. She's in her late 70s, so I'm just trying to spend more time over there. I was there for 3 months in California this year, or last year, actually, end of the year, right before the new year. And I was like, but the drive was horrendous. 3 straight days of driving, like 9 to 12-hour days. And I just can't see myself doing that. So I was thinking maybe I should just fly. Maybe I could just fly there, rent a car, maybe not stay as long, but fly. But look at the way the world is now. This is insane. Ticket prices have doubled, almost tripled. So flying was safer in the 80s, says Scott. $4.60 in Vegas. $3.49 in Minnesota. Now Trump has artificially tried to control the price of gas and oil by faking us out. So Trump says that the war's starting to wind down, but really it's not, because Marines are on their way there right now. They probably already showed up. They're going to take Karg Island, most likely. So it's not winding down. But he's going to keep saying that because that will make everybody think that everything's stable and everything's going to go back to normal. And so we don't know what Trump's going to do. This is why the Iranians won't negotiate with him, because they know. They know that he just lies and makes things up. So how do you negotiate with people like that? Now, according to Iran, they were already making huge progress with the negotiations before all this went down. They're already, agreeing to a bunch of stuff. And then boom, the United States hits. So 419 in Tampa. Wow. All right, you guys, anything else you guys want to talk about before we pop off of here? I know it was a short show today, but I didn't have a lot for you. Did you hear about the ambulances that were attacked in the UK? No, did not hear that. There's going to be probably a lot of false flags going on to try to incite people to support the war. But it's pretty unanimous that people are pretty much going, hey, if you're going to do this to Gaza, then this is what happens. That's pretty much where everybody's at with this, right? If you go onto social media, you can see the people's sentiment. So people are awake to all this. Did y'all talk about Trump and Graceland? No, James. What's going on with that? It's interesting because Graceland, and I don't know what the connection is to Trump, but other than Elvis, I know there are channels that talk about the Elvis connection. Jurassic Liars is one of them that talks about the Elvis connection to Trump. But and we did some work on that as well. But it's interesting because in the plot of the new TV series called Paradise, which is about people under a dome, underground, one of the characters emerges from the bunker and he's on the top where all the chaos is. And basically the world was destroyed by like a volcano eruption or something like that blacked out the skies and caused mass extermination of humanity. Well, he goes to Graceland. So that's interesting. So there's something to that, I think. He was talking about Elvis and cleaning Tennessee up with ice. Oh, thanks. Thanks, James. Wow. We're in the middle of a war and Trump goes to Graceland. Yeah, check out the TV series Paradise. It's actually really good, but you really need to watch season 1 first before you watch season 2. Season 2 is playing right now. I think an episode just dropped like yesterday, so I'll probably screen that. If there's anything to decode, I'll give it to you guys. But yeah, it's basically an elite group of people, a large group of people, actually thousands, I think. I can't remember the exact number. They basically all get together and they know the world's going to end and they get in this underground bunker. But it has like a sun, it has stars and a moon. It's all projected with a giant camera. And they're all living in this like utopia, except it's not a utopia. It's evil because they justify it by saying, oh, well, we have to enact this kind of, intolerance because we have to maintain order. Because if we don't have order, then this whole thing could implode. And so this is the justification that we have out here in the regular world for the atrocities that, people like the United States and other countries like to perpetrate onto other people. It's all out of fear. We have to maintain order. We have to preempt. We have to assassinate. This justifies all kinds of evil. And so the TV series Paradise is just a microcosm of that. And it's predictive programming, right? Because we're under a dome as well, I believe. We're under the firmament. So all they did was squeeze that into a much smaller format. And then they tried to justify everything that has to happen to maintain order under that format. And that's supposed to program you to accept what our political leaders have to do or they say they have to do to maintain order and to keep us safe, right? So, the kitty cats love some fried pork belly, says Chris. That's funny. Yeah, I don't know what Boots is up to. He just runs around. He has his day. He just loves to run around, climb trees. Dogwoods are blooming all over the valley. It looks amazing. And I have all white dogwood blooms, but some places have the pink. Some have it mixed, which is really cool. Jamie was stuck on Top Chat. So you missed it. Yeah, hit the thumbs up button, please. Helps trick the algorithms. All right, I guess we're going to pop off here, you guys. Thanks, everybody, for showing up, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Much love. Take care.